first being using not LLMs, which have become such a hot topic of the past year or two, but neural machine translation, so NMT. You were probably familiar with that with DeepL. There's some other tools like Modern MT that I've used. And I find that NMTs can be very useful for repetitive content. So things like skill descriptions or stat modifiers. So once you get that syntax of, every 3 turns, increase Tucker's attack by 5, right? If you have that syntax, we can then translate the other 100 variants of that much faster. And also those sort of game balancing or content that gets balanced throughout the game development process, right, gets updated frequently. And I don't think localizers or translators need to spend as much time on those chunks of content anymore. And they can focus on narrative text and dialogue. And so when it comes to the narrative text and dialogue, I think LLMs can be very useful, right? As a mid-30s man, I'm maybe not the best person to translate the dialogue of like a inquisitive child, right? So I could maybe do a first pass of my translation and then say, hey, keep the meaning of this translation, but rewrite it with some colloquial phrases, and speech patterns of an 8-year-old kid, right? And then the last thing I want to bring up is tooling development, right? I think localization departments are often overlooked in their engineering needs, right? What sort of tools can help our team succeed? And with the advent of tools like Claude Code, I think we now have an opportunity for maybe more of us technically minded project managers to pivot a little more into localization engineering. And so last week, I actually was working on Claude Code to develop a LQA plugin for Unity. Still very much in development, right? But within a couple hours, I was able to develop this plugin that is going to be able to tag automatically text overrun and text cutoff issues with the hope of maybe uploading a screenshot to, say, Jira or Gridley and adding an LQA flag, right? So as people are playtesting, you could have this AI-developed automated plugin working for you, whereas before we would maybe have to wait for a year to get those engineering resources from our internal teams. So that's an important thing I see happen.